So this weekend I posted a link to the video I did a while back on the history of the band Big Wreck, since Rick Beato interviewed the group's frontman Ian THornley. In the comments, someone wrote me, "Love the channel, but I'm not a fan of hearing about Canadian bands that I know nothing about. How about an MTV Judas Priest motorcycle giveaway contest?" So let's talk about the contest, since people love to hear about the MTV contest I've covered on my channel before. Formed in the mid-70s, heavy metal outfit Judas Priest would enjoy commercial success in America starting in the early 80s when their albums started to go platinum. That success would carry over to the middle part of the decade, and in 1986, Judas Priest would release their 10th record, titled Turbo, on Columbia Records. The album would go in a much more commercial direction, and it would utilize synthesizers for the first time in the band's career. For their 10th record, the band initially envisioned doing a double album using the title Twin Turbos, with one record being more commercial, with the other one being harder sounding, but they eventually ditched the idea. The lyrical content on Turbo was also markedly different from their previous efforts, which saw more of an emphasis on sci-fi and fantasy themes, but this time around they focused more on relationships. One could even argue that it was shaped by what was popular in the music scene at the time. And given MTV's popularity, it was pretty common at this point in time for bands to team up with a network to promote new albums and their upcoming tours by holding contests. In 1985, MTV would premiere a new program called Heavy Metal Mania, which would be a precursor to Headbangers Ball. The show would be hosted by Twisted Sister's Dee Snider, and it would only run until 1986, and it would be eventually replaced by Headbangers Ball. Side note, guys, if you're interested, I've done a whole video on the history of Headbangers Ball. The link is down below, and if you love MTV, I've also done a whole history on 120 Minutes as well. Judas Priest would team up with Heavy Metal Mania in 1986 to promote Turbo, and they would hold a contest. Here's a clip for that very contest.
Hi, I'm Rob Halford from Judas Priest, and I want you to ride through your neighborhood spreading the heavy metal word Priest style, and do it on this, my customized futuristic turbo cycle from our new video, Locked In. I'm going to give it away to one lucky viewer of MTV's Heavy Metal Mania, and all it takes is a postcard to this address.
The MTV Judas Priest Bike Giveaway, P.O. Box 899, Radio City Station, New York, New York, 10101.
If you're the grand prize winner, you and a friend will be flown to LA to see Judas Priest in concert. After the show, I'll personally present you with this one-of-a-kind monster machine. 100 runners-up will win a compact disc of our new album, Turbo, so don't be locked out. Send in your postcards today and ride with the Priest.
So who won the contest? Well, the winner would be a college student from the town of Benton, Illinois, population about 6,000 or so. The winner's name was Jeff Furman, who actually had a twin brother, and Jeff would admit to sending in 20 postcards for the contest. He would win a trip to LA to see Judas Priest in concert, and one thing that actually wasn't mentioned in the commercial for the contest was that the winner would get 2 motorcycles, not one. They would get the one-of-a-kind turbo machine with a sidecar that was used in the video for Locked In, but Jeff would tell a local paper that upon winning the prize, and I quote, "It isn't a street bike. They told me not to try riding it." So that second motorbike he won would be street legal, and it would be a Honda Rebel. Jeff was also allowed to bring one guest on his trip, and he would take along his twin brother Greg. At the time of winning the contest, both men were working at different grocery stores in their hometown, and they had just finished their first year of post-secondary going to Rend Lake College. Jeff was planning on joining the Air Force after graduating from school, while his brother Greg wanted to become an aeronautical engineer. Both brothers had never been to the West Coast before, and upon landing in Los Angeles, they'd be picked up by a limousine and taken to the Hyatt Hotel. It was shortly after arriving in Los Angeles, Greg would tell their hometown paper, "Everywhere you look, there was a fancy car." The brothers would also appear on Heavy Metal Mania, where Rob Halford introduced them as the winners and invited them to attend another concert in St. Louis, where they would be given 4 tickets and 4 backstage passes. Sadly, I couldn't find that clip, but as for what their mother thought about the whole contest and their winnings, she was pretty happy about the whole ordeal. So that does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. We finally have an MTV contest video where the end result doesn't end up with some people being unhappy and being given a huge tax bill. So as always, if you have suggestions for future topics, let me know in the comments section below. And if you guys want to see more content, just hit the subscribe button and be sure to share my videos as well. So we'll see you again in Rock and Roll Stories.